This radar detector will take all the surprises out of driving. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I decided not to record this whole thing in my car. It's kind of uncomfortable, and plus it's probably not very safe for me to be doing a video and talking to you while I'm driving. So instead, here we are. I'm looking at the Escort MAX 360C radar and laser detector. This is new, and the C indicates that it's for a connected car. So it has built-in Wi-Fi, which is pretty cool because what it means is, number one, this thing will be able to use all of the crowdsourcing Escort Live data, and you can actually get your red light camera updates and firmware updates, and you don't even need your phone in the car. That is a pretty good deal because usually having your phone is a must, and firmware updates, you have to bring it in, you have to plug it into your computer. It's kind of a hassle with most of these radar detectors. But this one, if you have Wi-Fi in your car and you hook this up, you are rocking and rolling. Now, let's talk about some of its features because it's a pretty amazing piece of technology. It supports detection of X-band at 10.525 gigahertz, K-band at 24.15 gigahertz, Ka-band at 34.7 gigahertz, and laser at 904 nanometers, 33 megahertz. It's a lot. Turns out, as you can see in this shot, you can actually turn on and off which bands you want to pay attention to. So if you're thinking, I'm going to let the cops use laser and tag me maybe, because that seems fair, but I'm going to detect all the other bands. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do that. Now, some of the stuff that this does that's really smart is it has, for example, auto GPS lockout. Since the detector always knows where you are, it can actually recognize when you drive past a false trigger, and after a couple of days it'll say, you know what, I'm going to auto mute that. So every time you drive past your local supermarket, you're not going to actually get this detection to go off. So that's really nice. One of the biggest issues with these radar detectors, even the smart ones, is the false positives. You don't want to constantly slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. You want to have it just detect the real thing. So that's what this is trying to figure out. It also has what they call speed-based sensitivity, which is another smart idea. If you're driving slower, it's going to actually turn down the sensitivity because it doesn't need to see a radar coming from a quarter mile away if you are just putzing through the little neighborhoods, right? At that point, you can wait till it's closer before you get the alert and you slow down. Now, speaking of which, let's look at a couple of the displays here. So on this, on the front, here's a picture. This is just a typical display. You can see I'm in a 35 mile an hour speed zone, and it's nice. It actually shows local speed limits most of the time. We'll come back to that in a minute. And then here, suddenly it's noticed something in X band, and notice the arrows around the display. The left and right means basically I'm passing this. It's kind of too late for me to have noticed this. Hopefully I didn't get tagged. Now, the equivalent of that is on my phone in the Escort Live app. This is what shows up. So you can see in both situations, regardless of which one I'm paying attention to, it's going to be pretty hard to miss that that's happened. Now, at night, you can also get detection, and this looks actually a little more cool maybe. This is the K-band being detected, and then in the app, you can see this is what the app would be showing me. So that's pretty cool, actually. And let's see. So the thing that I really like about the whole Escort line is that it connects via Bluetooth with Escort Live, and that crowdsources data. So what that means is that if I'm coming up to a speed trap or I'm coming up to a red light camera or anything like that, then other Escort owners have the ability to add to the database to keep it live and lively and real time. So here, for example, this is a map showing you that, oh boy, looks like I'm coming up. I'm in a clear zone right now, but if I go to the left or right, then I'm going to be going into a lot of dangerous territory. Now, to be fair, again, the Bluetooth connection is not super reliable. So the idea is that once you have this paired via Bluetooth with your phone, then you should be good to go. And every time you get in the car, it auto pairs and everything works fine. didn't really work that way. I would say it was about a 50-50 proposition. Half the time, this thing would suddenly, after a couple of seconds, say, hey, your phone's there, cool, we're connected. But the other half of the time, I had to relaunch the app, and then it took about 15-20 seconds, and then it would pair again automatically. So all I had to do was launch the app, which is probably a good idea anyway, so you can see what's going on. But, you know, it'd be nice if this was 100% on with the Bluetooth. So it goes. Same with the local speed limits. I really like having it show me the local speed limit. Now my car does that too, but my car does that with a camera system. So it's actually doing sign recognition. All these technologies are very complicated. But this one, it's using a database system, and I would say maybe 20-25% of the time it just didn't have speed limits for me. Or I would be driving and it would say, here's the speed limit. Oh, I lost it, and now I don't know what your speed limit is again. Which is not super helpful if you want to have it warning you that, like in this shot, you can see I'm coming into a speed trap and I'm actually driving over the speed limit. So that's a perfect example of, whoa, slow down, just 5 miles an hour, but I'll slow down, make sure that I don't have any issues. Let's see, the settings and all of that. There's a bunch of switches and buttons on the top, which is nice and easy to work with. So you can see here, there's a sensitivity and brightness. You can mark spots. You can mute it, which is super important. And then there's power up, on and off. And the mount system's really cool. They're using what they call an easy mag mount. Here's a picture of it in use. And unlike other mounts where you have to slide things in, it's just a magnet. So there's a metal plate here, and then the mount that goes on your windshield has a magnet. Super easy. You do need a wire. You do need to have a cord. But again, they've been doing this long enough that they know how to do it. So this cord not only is, in my opinion, the perfect length, but there's actually a button on the base, and there's a light, a red light that will flash to say, hey, I've noticed there's an alert coming up. There's something you need to worry about. So you can mute it right there. Even better, there's an additional USB jack, so you can still charge your phone if you only have one car. Do we call them cigarette lighters anymore, or just 12-volt power adapters? Whatever it is, this is a really nice add-on, and it really makes this work a whole lot better in your car. And let's see, the arrows, I already talked about that. There are arrows that show if it's something from in front of you, something behind you. You know, these people with their radar systems can be pretty sneaky. Now, there really is a whole ethical question of how is this legal? You know, am I encouraging you to break the law? And the answer is no, of course not. However, I do a lot of long distance driving. I put on a lot of miles. And I can tell you that when you're on the highway in the middle of nowhere, it's pretty normal behavior for you to be going 5 or 10 miles an hour over the limit. In fact, when I do that, people pass me by like I'm parked in the middle of the Indy 500. I don't know how they don't all get tickets, but I just like to put in cruise control, but I'm not going to go exactly the limit. But with something like this, Escort MAX 360C, then I can know that, oh, over the next hill, there's a speed trap, and it's the cop from that little teeny tiny town, and this is a big deal. So with this alert, I can then slow down to the speed limit, pass on by that particular officer of the law, and then go back up to whatever speed I feel is safe. And honestly, when you're driving on the highway in the middle of nowhere, I'm not sure where there's even a speed limit at all. I mean, I've been in plenty of situations where, oh my gosh, I could probably have gone 100, 110 absolutely safely with multiple miles of visibility front and behind. That's another story. I don't do that, so not sure my car could do that, but that's okay. Anyway, so this is the Escort MAX 360C, and I've really enjoyed testing this out. It's actually a really interesting device, super easy to work with. Love the magnetic mount. I really, really love the whole concept of the crowdsourcing in the Escort Live app. However, I will say it comes with some glitches. The Bluetooth's not reliable. The speed limit stuff isn't entirely reliable. And once in a blue moon, I'll come up to one of those speed limit signs where it actually has a radar and it's telling you, here's the speed limit and here's what you're driving. And every so often, this doesn't even see it at all. So I'm not sure how that is happening. But luckily, I have never found it where I pass a cop who's sitting in his window with a little gun and this hasn't detected them way in advance. So that's super nice. Not sure what else to tell you. Let's see. I've shown you all of the screen captures and all of the photos that I wanted to show you. Oh, on settings, check this out. They have unknown settings with unknown options in the app. I asked Escort about this, and they're like, yeah, the software is kind of a work in progress, so we'll fix that in the next update. So I'm waiting for the next update, but at least I can get to the vast majority of settings for this. So, you know, at the price, you would think this would be absolutely nailed down perfect, but this is a complicated piece of technology, and there's definitely some work in progress elements to it. So, before I tell you the price, let me ask if you can click on that subscribe button. Really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. And if you find this useful and interesting, thumbs up always is appreciated. Okay, so this is the Escort MAX 360C radar and laser detector, and you can pick one up for yourself for $699 at escortradar.com. Now, if you don't have a connected car and you don't have Wi-Fi, then you might check out the Escort MAX 360, which offers like 99% of the same functionality, same design. It's really basically the same radar detector, just minus the Wi-Fi capabilities. And you can find that less expensive at the Escort website, but you can find it much less expensive at various other retail outlets. So if you're looking for a really good radar detector and you don't need the Wi-Fi, then I would say Escort MAX 360 might be a better choice for you. Either way, drive safely out there, don't go crazy, don't break the speed limit in any dangerous way, and I will catch you in my next video.